This is about as close as I get to the nice new shiny trucks. The Dodges, the Chevys, the Fords, they have some great trucks out there. But today I'm going to be talking about bulletproofing our truck because there's no way I can afford a new truck at a dealership. How's it going? Welcome to another All About RVs. I'm Jared Gillis, and today we're talking about bulletproofing our truck. The other day I was at the fuel pump, and there was a guy on the other side of the fuel pump with probably what I would consider to be like my dream truck. Asked if he wanted to trade, and he said no, unless you want to trade payments too. He still owed like $50,000 on this truck, and so that was just... The amount that trucks cost nowadays is just insane. And I kind of like the thought that Keep Your Daydream has kind of their philosophy is don't wait until you have your perfect dream and that you can achieve that. What can you do today to be traveling or to be living out your dreams? And so that means getting this truck in the best shape that it can so that we can continue traveling. So we're giving the truck a little test run, and we got the monitor going over here. We're testing a bunch of things just to see how it's doing, and so when we do the work on it, we know that we don't have any other red flags that we need to address. So that's what we're doing now. So what are we testing here?
I'm just gonna give it a run through. I've got all the PIDs up. I got coolant temp, oil temp, fan speed, your Thickum power, intake air temp, injection control pressure, injection pressure regulator, and boost.
Nice.
That's all the things that, if anything's going wrong, those will show it.
So I wanted to finish bulletproofing our truck before we left Arizona. Bulletproof is in Arizona, down in Mesa. So I thought if we could do it while we're here, that would be fantastic. And we actually started bulletproofing our truck about a year and a half ago. Our EGR cooler blew, so we had to replace it. And the shop that we got towed to, the prices that they were giving us to fix the truck was just so high, and it wasn't even the bulletproof product. So we left there. We got to a place where we could install the bulletproof EGR cooler. We also studded the head bolts, and when we did the head gasket on the truck, we've done quite a few things. But when they did that one's kind of the you have to get pretty deep into the engine to do that. So they usually lift the body off of the chassis, and the EGR cooler in this 6.0 is kind of what put Bulletproof on the map, because these were so notorious for the EGR coolers just always being problematic and having so many issues. Ford really should have probably hired Bulletproof or found the fix that Bulletproof did to be able to fix these trucks. But we were able to get a Bulletproof one in there, which was great for us. The reason why their EGR coolers are so unique and so good is basically they take the core that's in there and they get rid of all the fins and all the stuff that's happening inside from factory, and they replace it with what they call an H-core. The H-core is those tubes twisting through the EGR coolers that they manufacture, and it gets rid of those fins, like I said, in there. So the fluids that need to flow through these tubes, they're not going to get blocked and bound up in there. They're not going to have a blockage to where this thing's going to fail. But what happens is, because of that twisting and the way that they design it and engineer it and manufacture it, it can handle an enormous amount of stress before they fail. So that's why they're called bulletproof, because they're pretty close to being bulletproof. They just don't usually fail. So they made the EGR coolers with the H-core for the 6.0s, and they were working so well that they started making them for other makes and models. So if you have a modern diesel, it's going to have an EGR cooler in it. So Ford, Chevy, Dodge, International, and they actually fail on quite a few of them, not as notoriously as the 6.0, but people are swapping them out to get the Bulletproof ones so that they don't have to replace them again and again. But this go round, we were doing a few other things. We were having issues with our fan clutch. So that's one of the things that we decided to replace on the truck this time. So one of the big things that we're doing today is we're replacing the fan clutch here, and this is gonna be the new one. It's actually off of, I think it's off the 7.3 Ford Powerstroke, and it's a mechanical clutch, so it's gonna be a lot more active, so it's gonna keep the truck running cooler. It's actually gonna make the AC a little bit cooler. So with it being active and being mechanical, there's less to go wrong with it, and gonna function better. So can't go wrong with putting this guy in there. So when they were doing the fan clutch, they cleaned up that pulley and made sure that it wasn't going to have any slippage when that fan goes to full speed. And then while we were in there doing that, the water pump is right there. And they actually manufacture a water pump there at their facility. So here's a couple of the parts that we're going to be replacing. This is the pump, the coolant pump. You can see the blades on the end here. They're all metal compared to the one that's in there now. It has plastic blades, so we won't have any issues with these shearing off or cracking or breaking inside. So nice to have this upgrade so that we don't have this fail. It was pretty interesting seeing them actually manufacture those parts there in their shop. I mean, they had a place where they were machining the water pumps right there, the housing, the impellers, and then they would assemble it there. It was pretty impressive. And we pulled our water pump out. The guys were looking at it, we were looking at it over there, and you could see two small cracks on each side of that shaft that makes it spin. So it really wasn't that far from cracking just a little bit more, and it just wouldn't spin anymore is what would typically happen with those. So having those metal fins and that end that's not going to crack like the plastic one did before is nice. So that was a nice preventative thing that we were able to get done, so that way we're not stuck on the side of the road without a water pump. But the last thing we did was the FICM. You can see the FICM right down in there. It's kind of a shame that all these things are buried, because it seems like they really take a lot of pride in trying to make these things quality and even look good. But yeah, the FICM is the fuel injector control module. The FICM was another weak point that the 6.0 had, so getting that swapped out was great. The thing just sounds so much better when it starts now, but they machined the housing there, they assembled the FICM there, like everything else. I was impressed with the attention to detail and the pride that they took in the products that they built. Now, there's so much more than a shop. Actually, I would guess that a majority of their business, from what I see on the presence online, is they ship all these things all over the place for these different shops and people to be able to install these things, and not just the 6.0 Ford. So like I said, the EGR coolers for the Chevy, Ford, Dodge, International, they had a lot going on there. Oh, and I almost forgot, one more thing that we ended up installing was this scan gauge 2. We actually swapped out the radio so that we had a place to mount it to where it was easy to see. But it's going to give us our engine oil temperature, our engine coolant temperature. It'll give us our transmission temperature. It gives us a lot of, you can set it up to give you a lot of different information, so that when we're towing with our rig, we're able to look at that and kind of get an idea of how hot the truck is getting, if we need to back out of it, if there's an issue going on. It's a scan gauge, so it's going to be nice to be able to have that on the road and have all that information at our fingertips. I know that our truck has a lot of miles on it, but it's nice to know that those things that we've taken care of now, that we've bulletproofed, it's officially now bulletproofed. We don't have to worry about those things. We're not wondering if those things are going to go out on ours like they have on other ones. So my recommendation to you is to find the weak points that maybe your vehicle has, because every vehicle has some sort of weak point that mechanics and people are used to seeing fail on that type of vehicle. So find those, see if you can preemptively get rid of that problem so that you don't have it happen to you on the side of the road. Just learn more about your specific vehicle, because breaking down on the side of the road is no fun, but being informed and being ahead of these things so that you know what's happening or what you can fix before you get there is always a good thing. I do want to say thank you to Bulletproof for allowing me to film while I was there, filming the end of this process of bulletproofing our truck. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for pulling the tank out at the end of the day too. That thing was awesome. But I think that's going to do it for today. So remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we'll see you in the next video.